What's up, my bourbon connoisseurs? It is the 15th of the month. That means it's a tasting episode. We sit down with the Chief Experience Officer, CEO, Russ, broker of the Blacksmith Distillery. He gave us Snow Day, Black Anvil Family Reserve, and the barrel proof version of that Black Anvil. All delicious. We got to be at the Rack House in Cottleville, Missouri. Awesome venue, amazing line of bourbons and whiskeys, worth checking out. Let's get started with the show by cueing the music. Welcome, bourbon aficionados, enthusiasts, and curious sippers alike, to Sip Wiselee, a podcast brought to you by the St. Charles Bourbon Society. My name is Jonathan Lee, and I will serve as your guide on this journey through the wonderful world of bourbon. Whether you are a seasoned connoisseur or just beginning to explore the depths of this flavorful spirit, our podcast is your passport to discovery, education, and pure enjoyment. Here, we'll dive into the history, craftsmanship, and flavors that make bourbon more than just a drink. It's a culture, a passion, and a way of life. Join us as we uncork the stories behind your favorite distilleries, uncover the secrets of barrel aging, and decode the complexities of tasting notes and flavor profiles. Each episode is crafted with care to inform, entertain, and inspire your own bourbon journey. So, grab your favorite glass, pour yourself some of your go-to bourbon, and join us as we raise a toast to the finer things in life. From barrel to bottle and glass to lips, let's sip wisely. Cheers. Welcome. Cheers, everybody. Welcome into August 2024's tasting episode. Hopefully, by this time of the month, you have already listened to the first of the month episode, where we sat down with Russ, broker of the Blacksmith Distillery, and learned all about his product and the amazing lineup that he has for us. If you haven't, there's still time. You can hit pause and stop and go back and check that one out before you get into this one. In this episode, we sat down and tasted 3 of his SKUs, and all of which were fantastic. So thank you to Russ for sitting down and sharing with us and giving us the insights of where the proof came from, where the mash bill comes from, just the overall process that he goes through to create these products. A lot of thought obviously goes into them, and it's just really neat to kind of hear his process as he goes through that. You know, he's the Chief Experience Officer. I like to call him the Chief Experiment Officer because he's definitely experimenting a lot with his products, and so it's great stuff. Big shout out to John, who is the owner of the Rack House in Cottleville. Looking for a place to record this episode. He was absolutely welcoming and very gracious as a host to have us in and sit down and share his staff and space with us. If you have not been in there, you need to go check it out. It's got an amazing selection and great food, and always great specials and deals and stuff like that. So go check them out. Cottleville, link in the show notes. Definitely worth the time and the experience. So check it out. So, Blacksmith is a great bourbon, and if it's not on your shelf, you should have one on your shelf. Remember, the purpose of these tasting episodes is to create that community feel. Yes, I know it's a podcast and we don't really see each other, but hopefully you get a chance to go taste some of these products, whether it's at the Rack House or whether it's purchased at one of the locations that Russ mentions. And then you share your thoughts. What were you tasting? Did you taste the same thing that Russ talked about or that we talked about? Let's create that community feel. Share your thoughts. Facebook group is out there. Instagram and X is all available. So please do so. And so let's get around in the episode and talk about the great products from Blacksmith Distillery with Russ Broker and friends. All right, everybody, welcome into the tasting episode for Blacksmith Distillery. I am here at an awesome venue for this particular episode. The only thing I wish is I had my cigar with me, but we'll do that after the show. So before we get into the tasting part, I have 4 special guests for this episode. I want them to go around, say who they are, what they do, and that way you recognize their voice when they share their thoughts on the Blacksmith spirits. Let's start with you, Mike.
Yeah, hi, my name is Mike. I work at the Rack House Kitchen Wine and Whiskey. I'm the bar guy, bourbon guy. I've been a fan of Blacksmith for years now, so looking forward to jumping into the tasting.
Thanks.
Hello, I'm Russ Broker. I'm one of the co-founders, co-owners of Blacksmith Distillery, primary partners, and pretty much the flavor creator guy for the brand.
Hi, my name is John Hamilton. I'm the owner at the Rack House Kitchen Wine and Whiskey.
Hi, my name's Josh French. I'm the sommelier here at the Rack House Kitchen Wine and Whiskey, and looking forward to the tasting today.
Fantastic. I'm glad you guys are all here. My palate is still pretty new with this whole bourbon tasting stuff, so it's going to be good to get some other experienced voices in there. And Raz, your website says you're the Chief Experience Officer. Your first episode came out today as we're recording this, and I said I think he also is the Chief Experiment Officer too, with all the stuff you were talking about in that first episode. So for those of you listening, you know how this works. The idea is to taste the bourbon yourself. So as we go through this, Russ is going to tell you they are small, and so they're in limited locations. So he'll tell you where you can get the product, where you can go try the product, and then share your thoughts along with what we tell you we're tasting here. So Russ, I'm going to let you take it away. Let us know what we're tasting, and kind of we'll go from there.
Very good. We're going to start today with our best seller by far. This is our Snow Day product. It's one of, probably a dozen different varieties on the market right now that have Amberana finishes. Ours, however, is the only one, to my knowledge, that is a 45% wheated bourbon mash bill. The preponderance of them on the market are either a high rye or a standard bourbon mash bill. I chose to go with the wheated bourbon just to really highlight the Amberana. And I also have included a yellow birch stave as well. I use specifically staves as opposed to the barrel because I feel you get a much better control of each lot. So when I take the 53 gallon, I divide it up over 5-gallon lots and then use staves. So the Amberana, if you've had many of the different spirits, you'll know that they can be finicky. Some can be almost sour. Some can be overpowering. Doing it in the 5-gallon lots is pretty much the same every single time, and it's lovely. So if you haven't had one, you'll note immediately you're expecting the wheated bourbon to be soft without the rye. You're not expecting any peppery notes, but as soon as you nose it, you get a nose full of baking spices. You get, and everybody's a little bit different on these, but anything from cinnamon to nutmeg to allspice, and then some folks get a little bit of clove, and then the yellow birch actually comes in on the end when you're tasting and kind of blends it all together and brings you just a note of honey on the end. So I'm going to take a little sip now and enjoy.
I actually do smell that cinnamon. Oh my goodness. I'm coming around.
Yeah, I think the baking spice off the nose with this just really does let you know kind of what you're getting in the mood for. There's almost a hint of creaminess in the nose as well that I think really kind of helps speak to this. I think that's a lot of that wheated mash bill that helps that along, in my opinion. I'm a huge fan of wheat, so I will put that out there between wheat and rye, kind of two ends of the spectrum. But overall, I think that creaminess that's just there, kind of on that back part of the nose, does this guy wonders.
Yeah, and I don't think you're alone. Every night at the bar, I get asked about wheaties, I get asked about Amberanas. So I think you can show, it shows that you're a boots on the ground kind of guy, because this is what people are looking for. and the taste is fantastic.
It was a lot of fun creating this. I've had different groups ask for private labels, and this is at 100 proof, which I think is the most appealing to the masses. I have done some at 120. Remarkably different. I mean, most bourbons and whiskeys are different from 100 to 120, but the finished bourbons to me are dramatically so. And I'm also mostly a neat bourbon drinker, but with the finished bourbons, I find that I like them cold, and it really changes the profile. Maybe I'm not a purist, but I will tell you that it is different for me with the finished bourbons.
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of allows you to leave it at a higher proof because that chill will kind of mute down some of the alcohol, allowing more of the aromatics, more of the flavor to start coming through. However you get it to that, with a little splash of cold water, with a cube, something like that, all is going to help kind of translate this particular whiskey, in my opinion, I agreed with you, into something unlike what's on the market right now.
So, I know I've got some first-time listeners, some new bourbon drinkers who are new to the whole process, right? You said Amarana, like a chair, Amaronic. What'd you say?
Amberana.
Amberana, and so that's the type of wood.
It's a Brazilian oak, yes.
Brazilian oak that goes in, and you said you put the stave into it. Okay, and so and you call this a finished whiskey, which means.
So it goes into a secondary barrel normally for when you're finishing something. Like our next one that we're going to get into, it's a standard bourbon, and then when we take it out of that primary barrel, we put it into a secondary toasted barrel. This one would normally go into a secondary Amberana barrel, but I choose to do it in staves instead. Okay. So same thing, different. And an Amberana barrel is a controlled export from Brazil. It takes you a month to get, and is $1,000. And each use is difficult to figure out because you have to taste it every single day. And you don't know if it's going to take 5 days the first batch, 7 days the second batch, 9 days the third, because it's just so finicky. I find my process to be much more simple. No worry, I'm not freaking out over there trying to taste it every day. I know exactly how long to do it, and it's good to go.
So you're almost steeping it like a tea bag with being able to use the staves that way then.
Yeah.
Got it, okay.
I only used them once. I'm certain I could use them again, but I don't want to play with trying to figure out how long I have to do it.
Fair enough.
I like how you said you have to taste it every day, like it's so bad.
Well, I don't live at the distillery, so it would be difficult for me to do.
Fair enough. So let's talk about that wheated mash bill real quick, as opposed to the rye. That's the flavor grain, right? Right now when we're recording this, it's like 150 degrees outside. The rye tends to add a little heat. So do you feel, and maybe you all can speak to the point as well,
sure.
Are the wheated more prevalent or popular in the summertime because of the softness of it, or is that just kind of...
So in my experience, the wheateds have always been popular.
Okay.
My 5 years here at the Rack House, everybody's always loved, like Weller, for instance. Just very easy on the palate, easy sipping. Add a cube to it, even softer. With the heat, I think it does play a role. I haven't had many people ordering ryes lately, so maybe there is something to that. The wheated during the summer, wheated during the heated.
Wheated during the
heated. I like it.
So there you go.
And your
catchphrase.
Newer drinkers too. They're not going to go right in for that hotter, peppery burn.
Yes.
All right, so you may have heard that a little bit of snafu there. Don't trust Target batteries. So we're on to the Duracells. We should be good to go. Sorry, Target. It's what they are. So we'll go with that. Target's good on everything else, but the battery's not so well. All right. So we were talking about wheated and the heated, wheated bourbons in the summertime, lot cooler. I think Mike was going to say something about.
Yeah, just to finish up my thought on that. Snow Day is also a genius name for your bourbon. So
Thank you very much.
Where did you come up with that?
It's funny. We introduced this right at a year ago. Well, 2 days from now is Saturday at the Missouri Bourbon Festival, and a year ago is when I introduced it for the first time to the masses. But it was probably 2 weeks before that. I had an experimental bottle at a gathering, and there were folks doing some pre-drinking. Let's say it that way. And a couple of folks were big fans of the product. And I just kept explaining that I felt like when you drink it, it just brings the connotation of a cold, blustery day. But I did not want it to have anything to do with Christmas or a holiday, because some people are just silly and think if you call something a holiday theme, then, I don't want to drink that unless it's the holidays. You're like, no, damn it. It's
Right.
So anyway, so we're talking about this out loud, and this one fairly inebriated fellow walks by who loved the product. He's like, Stouty! And my wife and I were like, oh my God, that is absolutely effing perfect. That's the name. So
There it is.
that's the name, and that's what we stuck with.
Perfect. That is awesome. That's a good name. And the image on the bottle is
It
pretty
is.
cool, too.
Thank you. That's an actual photograph of our farm and the distillery as it is today. The 118-year-old barn is no longer there, and that's where our new facility is being built. We just poured concrete last week on that, so we're excited to get that up and running and have new, bigger equipment.
That's fantastic.
This is also fantastic in the cocktail.
Yeah, oh, yes.
What did you give me the other day?
What I did there was just a snow day with the Amarena cherries, with one cherry and one bar spoon of the cherry juice. You can do bitters or not. I prefer it actually with the Luxardo cherries because that syrup is deeper, richer, thicker. And then if you're going to put bitters, I mean, you can do anything, but I think the orange bitters works well. The Knob Creek's bitter cherry bitters is pretty good in there as well. Or my own personal concoction that I don't sell, my own orange. It's pretty good.
Nice. Yep.
Very nice. All right, so what's next on our... Actually, so where can we pick up Snow Day? I know it's available here at Rack House, obviously. But where else could people go and pick that up?
So that's available at Grillo's Chop and Barrel in Lake St. Louis, Dad's Bottle Shop, Lake St. Louis, all three of the Friar Tucks in Missouri, formerly the Beer Sloss locations, but they're now called Brothers Beer and Bourbon House, as well as Beer and Barbecue at Mid Rivers, and should be at Barrel Blends in the next week down in Baldwin, and it's at one of the Royals in North St. Charles.
Very nice.
Now we have it here by the pour.
By the pour
So
here.
yeah, we usually have maybe an extra bottle or two, but I just don't want people running and thinking they can buy bottles here necessarily. We can order them.
Yes.
We can order them if they want to do that. We'll get them through Russ. But also if they want to try it, they come in here and get a pour. Then they know then they can experience the flavor. Then they can
Right.
pick it up wherever they want, or like I said, we can order a bottle for them.
Yeah, very good point. Thanks for...
Yep.
I assumed that, but it was definitely a good idea to... No, you can't buy the bottle here, but definitely a great place to taste it before you get the whole thing.
And I think you may be the only place in St. Charles County that has it by the pour.
So it's a good excuse to come to Rack House, try it out.
Yeah.
There you go. Fair enough. All right, so what's next on our list, Russ?
The next one we're going to go to, so our Black Anvil bourbon is our primary bourbon, and we use, so it's our flagship, 78-12-10 mash bill, similar to Elijah Craig. So we offer that in a 90 proof, and then we offer it in a barrel proof, and we offer it in finished in a secondary toasted barrel. So that's called our Family Reserve. That's what we're doing now. The Family Reserve is 106 acres because our farm is 106 proof because our farm's 106 acres. But I myself really am a fan of the secondary toasted barrel finishes.
Me too.
Yeah, brings about a lovely extra, a little bit of smoky, but it really brings in a vanilla flavor. And I really get a kick out of that. For any of you that don't understand why that is, char levels, whether they're 1 through 4, is just 15 seconds, 30, 45, whatnot, of flame on a barrel. But toasted is just high heat without any flame. So it really draws out and caramelizes the vanillin layer inside the white oak. And so it's just a wonderful extra thing. When the wood and the whiskey permeates that wood, it just really gets into that vanillin layer and just adds a lovely nuance.
Whenever we're telling people about these with toasted, I always love to use the toast aspect. How do you like your toast? Do you like it really dark and charred, or do you just want it to just ever so slightly change the texture? And that's what is happening in toasted. You're just getting a slight texture change if you were to kind of compare that with a slice of toast. And you're right, that just helps create a flavor level that can never be found. You know, when you char something, in particular the white oak, you're getting flavor compounds that are only available by charring. right? So by doing this toasting, high heat, you're able to get a flavor compound and aromatics that come with it that aren't available in any other aspect other than doing it this way. And finishing, I mean, this is maybe besides the Embryana, the only other finish that is as popular, I think, as it is.
I agree. And we were talking earlier about adding a cube to the wheated bourbons. I am a big fan of adding a small cube to my toasted finishes. I think it really brings out the caramels and the vanillas. And by the way, I'm sipping on this, and this has a very lasting effect, lingering on the palate for a long time. So, very good.
Nice. And it's funny, too, if you talk to, big distilleries or you talk to cooperages, many will say, well, we toast our barrels before we char them. Many do. Some of them kind of cheat on that nuance because they say that they toast it. What they really do is they're heating the wood to make it more pliable, to make it easier to make the barrel. But when you have them both together, it's not the same. When you let that thing age and finish and then take it out and put it only in a toasted barrel, it's not fighting with that char, and it's not adding that extra oak flavor that too much, where you can just get too much char, and it's just dealing with the toast. And I think if you want that, you got to do it in the secondary barrel.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah, there's a ton of flavor here. Still sipping on it.
Almost, you get a little cherry cola, maybe.
There is,
top end.
Yeah, that was the red fruit is coming through.
Yeah.
Really nicely. Speaking to the finish, it's there. I think the proof helps carry it, but it's full enveloping over the palate, so it's coating the mouth without being weighty. Again, proof I think helps move that down just a little bit along. But yeah, I mean this is an easy drink for a proof that is above 100, and that's really nice.
This is the one we're doing.
110.
It's 106.
106. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And what's it? Fred? Oh shoot! I just lost his name. The guy that asked out of words.
Minnick.
Fred Minnick. I've always agreed with him when he talks about when you first taste a whiskey, what does it do to your tongue? Think about what it does to your tongue before it hits your throat. Does it cover your whole tongue? Does it just burn the front, just the sides, just the back? If it gets the whole tongue, to me, that's a good whiskey.
Yeah.
And that's what I strive for. I like the vanilla forward, so I push that as well. But it does. It gets the whole tongue.
What was the mash bill on this again?
It's 78, 12, 10. Not that I'm doing everything like Elijah Craig with the toasted barrel and their mash bill and all that, but I am a fan of their products. What can I say?
Exactly.
You did mention that in the first episode. Yep.
There's still one. I think the only privately owned distillery of the big guys.
Of the big guy.
Wow.
But I also think if you kind of look at them and look at their batches, I mean, they're getting over 130 proof with the exact same mash bill you've got here. So this can be a workhorse at different levels, which is nice.
Indeed. Yeah, we've not tried this at 115, 118.
I'd be curious.
Yeah, I need to think about that.
So that means in about a month you're gonna be rolling with a mason jar that just says 115 on it.
That's right.
We'll have to keep that hush hush.
All right. We're gonna edit that piece out, Jonathan.
Chief experiment officer's on it.
That's right.
Lots of hats, lots of titles.
Now, if I remember correctly, is this the bourbon that won best bourbon at the Show Me More Bourbon? Or is it a different one? You don't remember which one got the trophy?
I don't.
Big, huge trophy,
I have too many SKUs.
So memorable.
Many awards.
Well, I mean, everybody makes fun of us. The other distilleries, they'll bring 4 items out, and I got a 6-foot table that's got 18 SKUs across it, and they're like, "Why do you bring all that?"
Well, how long have you guys been around?
We've been legal for 5.5 years.
5.5 years. Okay. And illegally?
We practiced for 5 or 6 years.
I just noticed you use that word, so I had to check.
Missouri lets you.
They allow, was it 500 gallons?
100 gallons per person per year.
There you go.
Okay.
You just have a lot of people in the house, huh?
I'm a fifth of seven.
See, there
My
you go.
dad's a seventh of seven, so
That's a lot of gallons. Right
that's a
there.
lot of gallons.
Very nice. It is a great pour, great finish
It really
on
is.
it, and it's definitely one of mine. And I'll have to look at the records. I'll set it straight in the closing. But I'm pretty sure this is one that got the most votes for best bourbon at our event in June. Easy sipping, even at 100 degrees. It's not overpowering and refreshing. It's good.
And to your earlier point in the question about the rye, that's a really low rye mash bill.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of bourbons that have medium to high rye, but I mean they all have their place. Some of them with 6, 8, 10 points. They're just easier drinking. But like our hammered rye is a 30%, and it's wonderful. It's great nose, fantastic for Manhattans and old fashions, but it's just something different.
And is this one available for pour here at the Rack House?
This one is not. It's not right now.
Not at the moment.
Okay.
Our traditional flagship is the non-secondary finish.
And so those who may want to try it work in the same places you mentioned before?
The majority of those, for retail, it would be, excluding the Royals in North St. Charles.
Okay.
And we have your honey finish here too, by the pour.
Yes.
That's right.
Very good. All right. We're ready for the third one?
Third one, yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, so this is our barrel proof, so there's no secondary finishing here. And I do get a kick out of the fact that most people, I'm sorry if I'm unnecessarily educating, but there's barrel proof, there's cast strength, and there's full proof. Barrel proof and cast strength are the same thing. A lot of people will ask, what's the difference between that and a single barrel? Well, barrel proof and cast strength can be a blend of multiple barrels. There's just no water added. Single barrel just means it's one barrel, not blended with any others. Oftentimes for a barrel proof, you'll get a more full flavor if you blend barrels. Obviously, that's why they do it. Call it small batch, all that. There's no definition to small batch. But full proof, anybody know what that means?
Those listening should know what it means because we talked about it in the last episode.
Did I say it?
Absolutely. No, you didn't say it.
Oh.
I said it.
Okay.
But it was actually with Gary Highgardner. So when we saw each other last time.
So it was just a truly interesting thing because I've never read about it. But when you're distilling and it comes out of the pipe at 120, let's say, because it can't. So you can't put it in the barrel higher than 125. So if it comes at 120, but you decide for whatever reason you're going to put it in the barrel at 110. When you dump that barrel and it's elevated to 125, foolproof means you're going to cut it down to what came out of the pipe, which I think is very, very odd.
Right.
Definition or term. Why do you even want that? What's the relevance of what it came out of the pipe? Makes no sense to me. But the few that are out there that are foolproof, like Weller's foolproof, right? It's a fabulous product. Lovely. Not a lot do it because probably the record keeping to go back and figure out what it came out.
Interesting.
Yeah, last month's was Green River, and their foolproof is phenomenal.
I haven't tried that.
Got good reviews within the group that was on that pour. But yeah, it's a weird name for me. Why foolproof? It should be foolproof, but fooling you. But yeah, that was most people at the table. They're like, what? So no, as I mentioned, we got a lot of people who don't drink bourbon or are new to it. So anytime you want to educate people on what we're doing, that's great. So,
Very good.
And if you don't, I will ask you to clarify.
All right.
So basically, I mean, we average around 330 different bottles on our bar. Just kind of depends on what's available and what's on allocation and goes away or whatever. But for people who are trying to get into bourbon and really don't know what they like or how to get into it, we're a good place to start. We have such a huge variety. And then if you want to, we've also got a punch card. You basically punch your way through 100 of the 300 and some odd that we have. And you can get rewards along the way. But that also then forces you to try different stuff that you might not pick, especially if you don't know. If you're sitting at the bar and there's all these bottles, you don't even know where to start. So that's something that, that we provide here that I think is pretty unique and cool for people who are trying to get into it.
And if you are newer to it, please come sit at the bar. It's usually me at the bar, and I'm more than happy to talk about your palate, what you like and don't like about what you're drinking, and we can go from there and find out your favorites. And so we definitely take the time to do that with you. And I know Josh will too.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether you're out at the table, at the bar, I'll swing by, say hi. Please ask. The questions are great. I think that's a big reason why we've been around. At the time of recording, next week will be 10 years that we've been here. John's been at the helm since the beginning. And it's just one of those things that, whether we're doing the bi-weekly flights, the flights on the menu, just these things that we can help get around for our anniversary. I know this is going to be a little past, but keep an eye out because we will do tastings, whether they'll be complimentary or paid tastings or pairings with food. It's a great way to come and try. Whiskey Wednesday, we just had that last night. We've got over 50 whiskeys that will if you'll find something you like, you got a double pour for single price. And that's every Wednesday. And then we've got a rotating bottle that'll change. And check out Facebook. It's an easy way to keep track of everything we're doing.
I'll add to that. The menu can be daunting, but it's also wonderful that it's categorized. So if a total amateur comes and sits at the bar, they might actually panic because there is such a selection. But one of the greatest things, how many whiskey bars have a sommelier? Why do I say that? Because some of these people that are wanting to start drinking bourbon have been drinking red wine. And there's a fabulous extrapolation from what kind of red wine you drink into what kind of tastes you're going to enjoy in whiskey.
Absolutely.
And, a bartender that works with a sommelier is, going to be fantastic to suggest, well, what kind of red wine do you like? Or what kind of wine are you drinking? What kind of this or that? What food are you going to have tonight? Not just pairing it, but understanding who you are. And if you're still kind of nervous, they can suggest a cocktail. So you can always break in with an easy, smooth, sweeter cocktail. If you're nervous, no big deal. And they've got, God knows, every damn thing here to make whatever you need. So I think it's a fantastic place. Oh, and by the way, it's pretty damn good food, too.
Nice. Yeah, that rotating menu, seasonal menu definitely helps out. All of our entrees happen to be paired with a wine and a whiskey, but feel free to, kind of maneuver around however you feel and whatever is kind of getting at you for the day. A lot of people ask me for what my favorite is. Again, I like to roll out with, hey, I'm drinking wheated and rye at home right now. I'm on two different ends of the spectrum. I think I've had everything on the bar. Some of the newer stuff, got to take my time. I want the consumer, the guest, to have the first pour out of that. But I'll get into something once we break it and get a little more palate on it. But other than that, the staff that we've had has been here for a while. Russ has seen, like Mike said, 5 years for him. Just a really good backing where we've got the knowledge, even with our serving staff. There's no reason why they can't help direct you in a way to better your evening overall. And yeah, you want a good cocktail, Mike or any of the team at the bar will be able to help you out.
Fantastic. Yeah, if you all failed to mention that, then I was going to definitely bring that up, and I'll bring up more here. That's right at the end. Let's get to our last pour here real quick, and we'll wrap this up.
So yeah, this is our barrel-proof version of the Black Anvil Staple. This particular option is at 110 proof. This was one that we've had out for a while. The newest iteration is at 117. We've been barreling a bit higher than we were the last year. So for any of you high proof lovers, that kind of frown at my 110, I started at 117 and had a little people have some anxiety over it. So now we're back to that.
Yeah.
My opinion is, and I try to educate everybody at every tasting, you don't let anybody water down your lemonade, your Coke, your Pepsi, your tea for you. Why do you let any whiskey manufacturer do the same? In my opinion, everyone should always get cask strength or barrel proof of every bourbon, because that's the only way you get to taste the full flavor. It's the only way you know how you like it personally best. If it's too hot out of the bottle, well, guess what? Add ice, add a little water. If you still like it room temperature, add room temperature water until you like it. Because otherwise, no offense to Old Forester, they make fabulous products, but I'm just using it as an example. How would you know that you like it 86 proof? You might like it 93. You might like it 96, right? But if you get it right out of the barrel, that proof, there's no other way to taste it that way than barrel proof.
That's a great point. Work your way down.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask, who's Grandpa Mike?
Grandpa Mike is, well, there's two of them. So my dad is Mike Broker, my brother's Mike Broker, and my grandfather's Mike Broker. So grandfather was the blacksmith. So in homage to him, that's what we started. The silhouette on the label, that is my dad, who's 83 years old. In 8 days, I guess, will be 84. And then the anvil is my grandfather's anvil, and it sits out in front of our distillery. My grandfather used to have a still. He had a sawmill as well, and he'd hide the still underneath the sawmill dust. Not only to hide it, but it got hot under there, so you could cook the mash while it was underneath the sawdust. And he, of course, nobody distilled anything then but corn whiskey. So my dad had his whole recipe, and that's what we did in our very first batches, was corn whiskey.
Yeah, this, I think, with proof, there is nobody batting an eye at this. It still drinks. It's got enough grip, but without completely blowing out a palate. I think once you start getting above 120, that's really where a lot of people start kind of being a little more shy.
Yeah.
Because it's going to go one of two ways. It's either going to blow you out, or it's going to be just like this. But keeping it a little bit down, wow, this is great.
Thank you. And it still does the whole tongue, right?
Yep.
And the finish doesn't, burn down your navel. Yep. Just it goes a little bit, gives you a nice Missouri hug.
It really is nice.
And there's not a burn out your nostril ethanol nose.
No, I mean, we're in Glencairns right now, so this is refocusing all the aromatics back on the nose, and no, nothing singeing anything. And that's the beauty of this, is it doesn't hurt on the nose, it doesn't hurt on the way down. It kind of just, it lets you know it's there because of the proof, which it should. If it didn't, I'd be concerned. But as it sits, this has got to be a workhorse.
Yeah, butterscotch, vanilla.
All traditional. Yeah, very, very much so.
It is funny to me, too, when I'm side by side, that those fruit notes or the cherry cola-ish are not here.
No, it backs off.
And you wouldn't think, if you were just talking hypotheticals, that those notes would be in a toasted barrel finish.
Right.
But alas.
Here we are.
That's
why you do it.
Yeah, very well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would have guessed this is 116 proof or what? 110, sorry.
110.
110.8.
110.8,
Sorry.
to be exact. I wouldn't have guessed. I think it would have been almost a little lower. I think it's not that bad, like you said.
No, not at all.
Pretty smooth. We get that pretty much across the board. So many people that come up that want to try things, especially if they're novices. And I'm like, why do you want to try the barrel proof if you're a novice? You're going to make a face. But they comment regularly that, even I think it's so much that we're so small that they expect it to be, turpentine or something. You're just like,
Sure.
It's, but it's not.
So where can we pick this one up?
This would be pretty much all the same locations as well. It's not in that Royals. It's in the Friar Tuck's, Dad's, Grillo's, and the Beer Sauce, or Brothers Beer and Bourbon. No, they don't have the barrel proof here. You got the three here: the standard Black Anvil, the Honey Bourbon, which is our Black Anvil finished in the secondary barrel that held honey, and ours is distinctively different than any of the honey bourbons on the market or the honey whiskeys. Ours is a honey bourbon, not a honey whiskey. Distinctively different. And then our Snow Day, of course.
Very nice. Yeah, yes, you do bring a lot of product when you go to an event. I remember when we had our Show Me More Bourbon, and people, like you said, were bringing 4 bottles, 3 bottles, and how many bringing, Russ? 13. Okay. So you've got a catalog, and I got to taste. I won't say I tasted all 13 that day, but they were all very well finished and very tasty. So good job on the product. And
I have 5 more.
I have 5 more. What, in your bag right now? Keep us going for another hour.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is only a 30-minute show, so we're going to keep it down to just a 3. No, so it's
for part 2.
We did on another podcast. They're like, "Holy crap, this went on forever. We have to make another part."
yeah, we weren't able to finish part 2. Had too many. No, so. Let's bring this home. Russ, I want to thank you for obviously providing the bourbon and the knowledge, the great product. Those listening, come up here to Rack House, try it. You're going to love it. Then go to the stores and purchase the bottles because they are fantastic. I can guarantee a lot of folks that come over to your house probably have never heard of Blacksmith. Be great to introduce them to that product. They'll be like, "Oh, this is fantastic." So, and then they mentioned it, but if you're looking for a place to go and try bourbon, you're not a bourbon drinker, you're not a whiskey drinker, you're not sure what you're going to get into, this is the place to come. You've got very professional staff. They can kind of ask the right questions to get you to the product that you need. They've got great deals. Flights are available, so you can test multiple versions. Very comfortable spot. And, yeah, we are sitting in the cigar lounge. So you can enjoy a cigar and the game while you're trying these as well. So, John, thank you very much for bringing us in and letting us be here for this episode, and greatly appreciate that, and can't wait to be back. Russ, your show, anything you want to say before we sign off for the episode?
I would add that for small craft distillers, we still and will be for some time self-distributing. So we're primarily only in Missouri. What that also means is our prices are still very relevant and much lower than the majority of the craft distilleries. We did just pour concrete on our new one, and we hope to be able to increase our yields 300 to 400% within the next year. Once that happens, we will probably move to distributor, and prices will probably change. So during this time, I would recommend any fans of our products to take advantage of this time.
Fantastic. So, yeah, we're looking forward to that new facility opening up. You've talked about it the last couple months, and so I'm excited for you and your family to get that open.
So does my back.
I bet. No, their website also has a where to buy link to it, so you can also click on there if you want to find out where you can pick this up. So,
and a great video of my dad. It's pretty funny.
There you go. And get that video as well. So, Mike, Josh, John, thank you everybody for joining us and providing your insight. Greatly appreciate your time. Hopefully the bourbon was enough to compensate you. And John, again, for the space. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now that was a lot of fun. Huge shout out to Russ for providing the product and being willing to sit down and share his whiskey and bourbon with us and tell us all about the stories. It was great, and hopefully that came through. I apologize again for the sound. I'm getting better at this, adding 3 more microphones to a group and being in a room that has an exhaust system to make it comfortable when you got cigars going. It's challenging, and I'm working through it, so I apologize if it's up and down and not always the best quality it can be. I'm getting better. It's definitely come a long way since episode 1. So hopefully you've noticed the difference, and we'll continue to work on that as we get farther and farther down our bourbon journey. Again, another big shout out to John over at the Rack House. Great venue, super comfortable. It just, very appreciative of being in that space and his willingness to allow us to be there. So if you're in the neighborhood, check him out. Say hello, tell him Sip Wiselee sent you over there, and try one of their many bourbons to choose from. If you don't know what you want, they've got great bartender and a sommelier I didn't even know what that was until this episode. That's pretty neat to be able to have someone that has the expertise to really kind of ask the right questions and steer you in the right direction. I wish someone was there. He was around when I started my bourbon journey, so I would not have bought the Basil Hayden's that still sits on my shelf because it's but nonetheless, it's a great place to go and check out, and thanks for letting us be there. And so great episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please share your thoughts, share it with others. Put that like button there on Apple Podcasts if you're on there. Get on to the Facebook group. Tell us how we're doing. Tell us your thoughts on Blacksmith's product. It is fantastic. Again, go buy it and put it on your shelf. It will surprise your friends. Trust me. In a good way. Absolutely. So, again, thanks very much for listening. Appreciate the listenership there. And next month, another distillery coming up. So be on the lookout. Socials, we'll talk about it coming up. Until then, be sure to sip wisely. Thank you for tuning in to the Sip Wiselee Podcast. If you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button to get the latest episodes. Don't forget to visit our website at stcharlesbourbonsociety.com for the show notes. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please share them on social media. Follow us on all platforms by searching for St. Charles Bourbon Society. Our goal is to equip you with the knowledge to sip wisely. Cheers.